Good afternoon. My name is Amos, and in this video, I'm going to be answering the question, what is counting to calculus? Counting to calculus is basically learning mathematics with a scaffolding with support from the most basic concepts to the most advanced. The idea of counting to calculus started a long ago. I was a teacher at a private school, and I had gone to school in Nigeria. That's where I got my secondary school education. And in Nigeria, the way it works is that in your 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, you can be a science student. So I was a science student taking courses in mathematics, science, chemistry, physics, advanced mathematics 1, advanced mathematics 2. The mathematics that students do in Nigeria from 10th to 12th grade, if people in America saw it, they would actually maybe be concerned. It's a little intense. And now looking back, it was intense. I had 3 chemistry teachers, 2 physics teachers, a biology teacher, 3 math teachers, and they were all teaching simultaneously every week. And I had to keep up with the work. And without any parental influence, because I went to a boarding school. I bring all this up to say, when you learn mathematics in a rigorous way like that, it actually does open doors for you. It gives you opportunities because you've seen all sorts of problems that you can tackle. Now, in America, we do mathematics different, right? I came to America in 2007, got my bachelor's degree in chemistry and a minor in philosophy, but I also worked in the math lab. And I'm grateful for people like Heather Kaler and those at the University of Wisconsin in Superior who gave me the opportunity to teach at the math lab. So I taught at the math lab, which was an opportunity to help people who came and asked questions about their homework and things like that. But what was interesting is that while I was teaching at the math lab, I found that I started saying these words a lot. Math is beautiful. You do a problem and you finish and you're like, this is beautiful. And I had always loved mathematics. In general, I loved mathematics. I wouldn't say I loved further mathematics when I was in high school, but that was partly because I didn't see the point of what I was learning. So back in 3rd grade or primary 3, I remember writing math problems and trying to help people to better understand mathematics. So here I was getting my bachelor's degree in chemistry, and then with a minor in philosophy, I graduated. And then I was, initially I was going to be a medical doctor. It's a long story for another day, but I pivoted out of medicine and I went into education. I got a job. Well, actually I went into a PhD track first, and then I went into a job in teaching K-12 education, middle school, high schoolers. It was during this time of teaching mathematics, I realized something. I'm like, wait a second. The Algebra 1 textbook has concepts in the Algebra 2 textbooks, and sometimes they have concepts like graphing in the geometry textbook. And I said to myself, wait, if they had all these concepts, why are students sometimes struggling when they get to pre-calculus? Why are students struggling in more like concepts later on if they've learned certain concepts multiple times before? And it got me to think about an idea. This was the idea in 2012. I said, wait a second. What if we took every topic that we teach from every school, every textbook, every nation, and put them in order from counting to calculus? That's essentially what I was doing. You can find the video of that on one of my YouTube channels. I'll find it and post it as a throwback video here soon. But the point is, why can't we just make a condensed list? Let's say there's a list and the list is 500 topics. And everybody in the world knows the exact 500 skills, let's call it skills, such as adding fractions of unlike denominators, adding fractions of like denominators, adding decimals, subtracting decimals. These are skills. Because here's the problem. I talk to students, and I've worked with hundreds of students, probably thousands at this point. I don't really count these days. But the point is this. When you ask a student, what are you learning in school? Here's the answer some of them give. I don't know. We're just on chapter 5 in the book somewhere. You can't do that with mathematics. You need to know what you're learning and why. And so counting to calculus was an attempt to basically give everybody in the world a comprehensive list of every skill necessary to be best in calculus. That's counting to calculus. So we have a list. Well, that's a great start. What about textbooks? Well, now we have textbooks. Some of them are from Rice University. Some of them are from Tyler Wallace Algebra. The point is, the textbooks don't matter so much. And I'll tell you why, because I saw this in physical chemistry. In physical chemistry, our teacher would tell us what chapter we're working on. This was during my PhD, which I went back to like 10 years later. I didn't finish because my wife and I found out we're having our 7th child. So I decided to stop my PhD program and just refocus on certain things. It was during this time I started a hybrid school, Life STEM Academy. in Minnesota, and I learned a lot of lessons, which I now plan to apply to my life moving forward. And I have a team now that supports me so that I can make sure I'm effective in delivering what I want to deliver, right? So that's just a quick tangent. I've also, been involved in starting schools, and now I've learned a lot. And I'm taking informal business classes to learn, just everything about running things well. But I bring all that up to say, during the time I took off, I was able to really try some of the counting to calculus programs, things that I was trying to build. But when I was in my PhD program, here's what was interesting. The professor would give us a list of other resources that could help us understand the concepts that he was trying to teach. So, for example, he would tell us, here is a topic on entropy. Our textbook has it in chapter 5, but here's 5 other textbooks, or here's 3 other textbooks. Imagine if we train our students to realize that textbooks are just a tool, and you shouldn't be bound by the textbook. You shouldn't be bound by any methods, actually. If you solve a problem and you don't break the rules of math, and you're very clear in what you're doing, and it makes sense and it's effective for the most part, why are we stopping students from doing that? Sometimes we want to standardize. Well, in the age of AI, standardization is in question, because you can personalize things better for everybody. Give them tools to help them learn at their pace of mastery. And if they're using the textbooks that we use, we don't push anyone into the next chapter if they haven't mastered the previous chapter, right? So counting to calculus was born out of this need to create something that guarantees every child does calculus. Then some people argue and say, well, should we do calculus or should we do statistics instead? And here's my answer. Why not both? Why don't we do calculus and statistics and data science? Like, time is not the issue. We take 3 months off in America. And it just breaks my heart. We take 3 months from learning mathematics, an objective subject that requires regular practice. And we're already struggling as a nation in mathematics. And we're going to take 3 months. Can you imagine a basketball team that says it wants to be the best? And then the summer comes and they're like, okay, guys, we'll see you next fall. We'll start shooting free throws in the fall. We're already struggling, and we're taking 3 months off when other nations are not doing this. Someone might say, oh, but the kids might burn out. Here's the trade-off. Why do we need homework? Why do we need homework if there's a trade-off so that the kids can keep working year-round, doing smaller doses of math, but they're doing it year-round? If my method is adopted, which is a year-round math curriculum, counting to calculus, so I've talked to you about the idea. I'm going to talk about the curriculum next. But if it is adopted, then guess what? The kids are not going to be burned out because they're only doing the math for 45 minutes to an hour a day. They have the weekends off. And if they follow what I'm saying, they can learn 3 years of mathematics in a year. Counting to calculus is what America needs to get back on track. If your nation wants to be number 1 in math, they should use counting to calculus. They should use the framework. Why do I say that? Because the framework shows everybody how to get to the destination. The tutors can know that. The teachers can know that. The government can know that. Everybody can know it. Can you imagine a case where, because when I tutor kids, sometimes they show up to me and they tell me, I don't know what I'm working on in school. And so I'm supposed to somehow work with them on what they don't, like, I don't know what they're doing in school, but I have something I want to teach them. Imagine if I knew what they were working on and their teacher knew that I was working with them on that which they were working on. Think about the reinforcement learning that would happen. That's a little sneak in of machine learning, AI, mathematics there. Reinforcement learning. Imagine if we can reinforce the concepts that they're learning. We have the solution to help children become exceptional in mathematics. There's a gentleman from India, Mr. Sandeep, that I'm working with to provide online lessons and courses. He's from India, I'm from Nigeria, living in America, and we're all working together to transform math education. We want every child to get quality math education. No matter where they live, they can just log on and learn mathematics from counting to calculus. We're starting with whole numbers. What are whole numbers? What are the types of numbers? We're going to talk about integers and then fractions, decimals, percents, ratios, proportions. And then we're going to dive into equations, graphing, inequalities, systems of equations, polynomials, rational expressions, radicals, quadratics, and functions. And we're going to do rational functions and polynomial functions and trigonometric identity identities and geometry and calculus and statistics and linear algebra and data science and calculus 2 and calculus 3 and differential equations. That is all going to be what students can get access to if they stay focused and keep working year round. That's part of what Counting to Calculus is about. It's about creating the clearest roadmap from no knowledge of mathematics all the way to data science, differential equations, and a math minor. No matter how old you are, no matter where you live, that's Counting to Calculus. Now, if you say, Amos, I don't want to be a mathematician, no problem. We can stop at calculus, statistics, and linear algebra. Those are essential for the age that the children are living in. A lot of people are consumers of AI tools, but how many people can build tools? How many people can build models? Now, there's a whole other conversation about the ethics of AI and so on. That's the other thing I actually do in my work. But Counting to Calculus is all math topics that every child can use to become exceptional in mathematics. Number two, Counting to Calculus includes a full 2 years of physics, a full 2 years of chemistry, general chemistry 1, general chemistry 2, general physics 1, and general physics 2. Counting to Calculus includes the whole curriculum for chemistry, the whole curriculum for physics, the whole curriculum for economics. We're using Dr. Thomas Sowell's work. We're using Adam Smith. We're using general economics textbooks. We're basically giving you chemistry, physics, economics, statistics, and probability, in addition to all the traditional math courses you're learning. Why are we doing that? Because there needs to be an integrative nature, interdisciplinary. Isaac Newton was the founder of Newtonian mechanics, and we said one of the co-founders of calculus and Newtonian mechanics. He was a physicist and a mathematician. James Clerk Maxwell was a physicist and exceptional at mathematics, and one of those who gave us the kinetic theory of matter. We need students to learn integratively, not disjointed and fragmented learning, but a form of learning that puts everything together. Can you imagine that there's students who are learning concepts in calculus but have no idea that Newton was influenced by the work of, Galileo and Kepler and Copernicus and the physics of the time? Actually, there was no physics major, by the way, at this point, because at Cambridge, Newton went to study law. Why didn't Newton study physics at Cambridge? Because Newton hadn't done what Newton was going to do. One man changed the world. We're going to be at his house next year, by the way, August 2026. The 9th to the 16th of August. You can join us there. And we're going to hang out at Newton's house. If we have time, we're going to go to Maxwell's house in Edinburgh. So I'd love to take people to Maxwell's house, Newton's college, Maxwell's college. That's easy because they both went to Trinity. They were both at Cambridge. But the point is this. The time has come for a new paradigm that guarantees that every child can flourish in mathematics. If your child hates math, I'm sorry to say they're not learning math, because math is beautiful. And that's what Counting to Calculus fundamentally is about. Showing people the beauty in mathematics. It's not a textbook. It's not, at its core, it's not a textbook. At its core, it's not a curriculum. It's an idea, first of all, of a pathway. Then we provide you resources on our website, which you can find in the description section. Then we provide you with tutoring and coaches. We have coaches and tutors now. I was just on a call doing more training with my tutors and coaches. And our goal is to literally be the company one day that no matter where you live, you literally go online and say, I want to learn some calculus today. You go on our YouTube channel and there's a live class happening on calculus. Or you'd go to our Zoom room and you log in and they put you in the calculus room. That is Counting to Calculus. We want to change the world of mathematics. But here's the thing. We might as well change all of education. Why not? Once you fix math, you might as well fix education as a whole. And how do you fix education? We'll talk about that more in these live streams. How do we fix education? How do we help every child to be who they were created to be? Notice the key word, who they were created to be. Because every child has potential. Every child has something to offer. But sometimes when they go to school or they go to get educated, which means to bring out, some of them leave feeling like they're defeated. They feel like, I'm not good at this. I'm not good at that. We're changing that. We're starting with mathematics. But the goal is to change education globally so that every child is realizing their potential. They're living to their potential to the max. Stay tuned for more information. My name is Amos Tarfa, as I said earlier. I am one of the curriculum architects for Counting to Calculus. I'm also the founder of the Learning Institute for Excellence, where we're starting micro schools and gap year programs all around the world. We have a program in Nigeria. We have one that we're starting in Austin, San Antonio area, and then Houston. and Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, all of America, and then eventually it'll be available to anyone around the world. If you want to start a micro school using our framework, reach out to us. You can go to our website for that, learningforexcellence.com, learningforexcellence.com. You can go there and get information. I'll connect you with our operations director, and they will help you get set up. We want every child in every country to be living to the max, and we want all of them to start collaborating. So we're inviting them to Zoom meetings on Saturdays. We have people from Singapore and India and Nigeria and America and England. This is a global effort that not only is it global, we need to fix certain practical problems. I need clean water in my village, all across my village, all across Nigeria, all across Africa. Can we get some scientists on the call to talk about water treatment? Can we get some people who are, researchers in electricity distribution? Can we build alternatives to electricity so that everybody has constant electricity? That's the world that I'm working towards, by God's grace. If Elon Musk is going to Mars, we're going to fix the water and electricity and infrastructural challenges in as many places as we can around the world. I'm starting back in my home country, but I want to see this transform every society. Education that is connected to problem solving and mastery-based learning and tied to a vision that the child has for their lives. So parents, please stay tuned. There'll be more videos. There'll be more opportunities. Reach out to me if you have any questions. Counting to Calculus is the beginning of a movement to transform education for the 21st century, revolutionizing education today by going back to the days of Newton and Maxwell and Euler. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and have a blessed day.